Welcome in, everyone, to Bookkeepers on Fire. I'm Donna Reed with my co-host, Deborah Kilsheimer, and together we spotlight bookkeepers and experts who keep businesses moving. This show is about you, the listener, the guest, the partner in rising the bar. We believe bookkeepers deserve to feel proud, confident, and seen. Each week we share inspiring stories, practical insights from bookkeepers leading with strategy, heart, and purpose. We elevate your voice. We give you the tools to step fully into your value. If you're ready to lead, serve with conviction, and redefine your role, you're in the right place. Our guest today is Sara Laidlaw Woodruff. We're honored to have her with us. We can't wait for you to meet her. Also, her husband, Mark Woodruff, is in the background too, so we're excited to hear from both of them. So let's ignite together.
Well, welcome you two. I'm so glad you're here. How are you? Known each other?
Oh my gosh. Well, we met.
1999.
We met. Oh, how long have we known each other?
Yeah.
Oh, how long have you known it? You two been together?
1999. Yeah, we didn't meet in a bar. We met. We
Not
met
yet.
at no one church.
Coffee house.
Coffee house. First Friday for folk music. In my
Yeah, because you're a singer too.
right, but we were watching and we were both in our suits and we had so he was shy. I started talking to him and he's like, "You just came from work?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just came from work." And I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for write-up software." And write-up software, he works for a CPA firm, and next thing you know, we're head to head talking. So
Software.
So yeah, we've been at the hip ever since.
I know. So usually, when I see Sarah at the conference, Mark's usually with her.
Mark, because I couldn't imagine him going without him.
Yeah.
I always benefited from it too. So I was 27 plus years as the IT director at a regional accounting firm.
Mm-hmm.
So you retired. When did you retire?
This last year.
This last year. So we both retired, except he's doing it right. He's cycling and birding and volunteering and watching the Olympics and everything. And I've got my nose in a computer playing with tech and software.
That's your birding. That's your Olympics. That's what you do for fun.
That's what I finally decided is I'm not going to be embarrassed about that anymore because when I'm on the computer, that's my hobby. That's where I'm having a blast because I can finally, now that I've closed my outsourced accounting, side of my business, I'm just not like mom, and clients and phone and all that. I can finally play. So I kept a couple clients. I was historically the nonprofit queen in town. So all the nonprofits I let go, and my clients or my employees have great jobs. And I kept my 3 nonprofits.
Because you're not the nonprofit queen in your town.
Right.
You're the nonprofit queen of the world.
I don't know about that.
Because I tell you what, you knew
That's a dumb move. Let me put it. If you're going to niche, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Because you had it down where you would allocate the payroll and you had it down to a site. And that's called TBX. Talk about that because tell about what that does.
Well, so if we go back in time, because we met in 2013, and that's hysterical in and of itself. So, but before we get to 2013, I sort of we need to set the stage a little bit. Okay. So, and the three of us have been around for a long time. So, there's really no point in back in the 80s, back in my day, we had big black books and column paper. Okay, everybody knows that. But it really set the stage for, where we are today. So in the old days, even only the larger CPA firms had computers. We had mainframes. So I was hired right out of college to automate the largest CPA firm in town, right? So getting them out of black books, putting in the System 36, and that morphed into doing, they called it after the fact accounting or write-up, because the small companies, they didn't have PCs. They brought their stuff to the accountant, and the accountant compiled it and did financials. So
Yeah, all big boxes of paper and handwritten checks.
green mark. And then, yeah. So, but in my firm, so there was the admin department, which was the girls. And then you had the professionals, the CPAs, which were maybe one girl, one gal. Okay. And then there's Sarah. It's like, what do you do with Sarah?
Where do we put her?
So I know. So my first mistake right out of the gate was working over 70 hours a week. So right off the bat, I was into that, competing with the men or not feeling, like I was worthy, but long hours, good at my craft. Okay. Well, we ended up merging, bought out by Price Waterhouse.
Oh.
And so that was like, what do you do with her? Well, they said, you have to be a CPA. And I'm panicking. One, I'm working 70 hours a week. Okay. And I have a math phobia. Here.
Well, accounting's not math. It's just logic.
Right. Well, I don't know. I can't do math in my head.
I can't either. It's called Excel.
I picture my dad with the flashcards on the multiplication, and I will convulse. Okay. So as long as I have a calculator near me, I'm cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, the CPA test back then.
I know. I took it with no calculator.
So I'm like, and everybody's going to do Becker and everything. I'm gearing up to do all that stuff. And then word came down and closed my department. Poof. It's like 18 months in. Well, now what do? I'm not a CPA. I just bought a house. Okay. I'm making as much money as the managers in here. Okay. So I just threw a Hail Mary and offered to buy it. So, like, buy it. And I'm like, yes, whatever's in my office right this second. So it's like the System 36, the stapler, the trash can, the desk, everything. And our first the little portable computers that look like a sewing machine every time you got in the elevator.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's that, honey? Your sewing machine? Anyway, where the bottom came off and
yeah.
And I threw a ridiculous number at them, and the partner went, sold. I'm like, okay. Where'd you get that number? I maxed out my MasterCard. And so I packed up, moved out. I kept all the write-up. They kept all the tax. And next thing you know, I'm an entrepreneur.
Right.
Well, that was my next mistake. Okay. Because there's a difference between being really good at your craft and skilled and an entrepreneur, which
Yes.
I still to this day never really figured out. Okay. So, and then I'm like, I grew and grew, and you hire and you built I built offices, and I've got the swags and suits, and so then we got into, and I had accountants that were doing write-up in, I called it my big boy software, which is Creative Solutions. And pretty stuff. But then they came out with they had the file cabinet where you could actually put the financials online, cool stuff. I started another business, Automated Accounting Solutions, when the PCs started getting cheaper and we were doing real world, all of them, until I realized that I couldn't do all of them well because so I decided get in bed with Intuit. And that's when a client said, hey, I found this thing called Quicken, and it can print my checks. Will you pay my bills? And I'm like, I can print checks?
Yeah.
And I can do payroll. So next thing you know, I have my accountants doing the accounting, and I have bookkeepers, right? So leading to TBX, I have a general ledger in Creative Solutions where I'm reviewing a general ledger. I would see a mistake. I'd have to open the books for that month, correct it, reclose the books, reorder the financials by department, go get a cup of coffee, walk around the block. I mean, I almost got out of account. I was so miserable. It was just the worst, Meanwhile, I get the next general ledger from one of my bookkeepers, and, by that time it's QuickBooks and everything. And, you're zooming in on a total on a financial, fixing it, clicking a button, and it's right back. So I'm looking at these two systems, And this is still real today when you think about changing technology,
Right.
and is history. So in my creative solutions, I had years of history and my pretty financials. I could do I could put in the units of concrete sold and do a little calculation per unit of cost at the top of the column. I mean, I can do all that in Quicken or QuickBooks. So that's where um, Intuit came out with the SDK,
Mm-hmm.
2005, 2006, and that you could actually start programming and interfacing with QuickBooks. So I'm like, okay. So I figured out that I could import a journal entry into Creative Solutions, but I had to get the figures from QuickBooks. So here's automation in its earliest form, which was just a trial balance, but I needed the net change. There's my journal entry.
Right.
The net's to zero. QuickBooks doesn't, to this day, doesn't make it.
Right.
So then I'm like, okay, I have this idea and I want to get off that other general ledger. So I did my next mistake, which relates to what I've been doing the last 4 months, which is when you have an idea, that you dive into development. So I had an idea. I figured out how to do it. I figured out what I needed in order to make that journal entry. And I went to the yellow pages. Haha. Okay. And I found my programmer.
You know what yellow pages are?
You don't know what yellow pages are.
Just Google it out there. For you people who don't know what it is, just Google it.
And I found this nicest guy would talk to me, and he goes, well, I don't know anything about accounting, and I don't know anything about Intuit or their SDK. And I said, hey, we can figure it out. He's like, I'm game. I'm like, I'm game. Okay. And next thing you know, he's writing me this program, and it was very simple. And I thought I was going to be rich. I was like, nobody can do this. And my biggest fear was that Intuit would change the trial balance and do a net change. And I also did it by class. I also did it by department. Okay. So that was my fear, was I would waste all this money and Intuit fix that report. And that would throw me out of business. So, but my mistake was I had an idea. I found a programmer. I paid for the program and wrote it. And then what do?
You got to sell it.
But I'm also, mom, I'm running a business. So I don't know anything about marketing and how to sell something. I didn't even have enough money for a website. So I taught myself WordPress. Okay. Built this website. I found a shopping cart. Anyway, I put it up on the internet, and you're going to die. So I go, it was $99. Except I don't like that pennies thing, the 99 thing. So I said it's $100 because I'm OCR and I like nice round numbers.
Yeah.
So, all right, $100. And then you know how when you buy software, you have to have the key code so that nobody's pirating your stuff. So I had this, 4 digits, 4 digits, 4 digits, 4 digits, right? 4 dash, whatever. And so the programmer keyed it in so that I had, as long as the four sections had the right letter, like B, X, a T, and a whatever, it didn't matter what you keyed in, it was going to work. So then I sold the same number to everybody because I'm thinking, accountants are honest. They won't steal from me.
No, if they think there's a code, they won't do it.
I'm thinking, we're ethical. Right? So, and every once in a while I'd sell one and I go, yay, and I'd take everybody to lunch. So eventually I made the money back. But I swear to God, to this day, TPX was really more of a hobby, not a business. I'm going to change that. But
by the way, the licensing is different.
Oh, yes, the licensing is different now. Well, Intuit changed their database, when was that? Whatever year, 2009 maybe.
And this is desktop we're talking about.
Desktop. Yeah, desktop. So I either had to throw it away or start all over. And so I put it out to bid, and anyway, I took the low bid, big mistake, and I wanted to add all these features and everything, and still didn't know how I was going to sell it, but I was just making every improvement was just bang up, and my reviews are off the charts. People love it if you find it. If you find it. So and then here's the other thing I learned: if you don't do your market research or understand who's going to buy your product, why I thought I was going to sell it, didn't know. People were buying it for something I didn't even think
Oh,
about,
really?
which
Yes.
is migrating from or either starting new data files, and they just wanted to keep their monthly history, okay, and not bring over all the transactions, or migrating to the big boys intact and all that, and they want to bring their comparative financials. So all of a sudden it was migration people.
Right.
And you still had the ones that were like heavy into Excel and analytics and all that. They love it. And franchises, yeah. Um, so, but and that's that. I don't remember his name. When I realized that I was failing miserably with the out of the country crowd, which had a great price point, but big mistake. I bumped into Ernest Cook, and the thing
Wow.
is, when you go to a programmer and you say, "Will you fix my program?" They don't want to go in behind horrible code. They'll go, "No, I want to start fresh, and now I want it to be my code." Well, poor Ernest. I talked him into going in behind these guys. And he was funny because he would get so frustrated. He would pull up the code and we would do a Zoom and he'd go, "See this?" And he would explain the code to me. And you could see it change between different kinds of programmers. And I can strip all that. I'm like, strip it out. Anyway, so we became really fast friends. And so that's how TBX came into existence. But no, I never did get rich. But it gave me that automation bug, you know.
Mhm.
And then back in those days, I was like, there were forms programs that I would use because we would do like our quarterlies by hand, and I just hated that. So I wanted
Mhm.
to anyway. So I was always playing with something. But then I found LinkedIn, and back then it was like, especially the Michelle Long, and she's of the Hector Garcia crowd and all that. I found her really large LinkedIn group. Okay. And I started meeting people, and that's how I met Seth David, because he said he did something, and I went to his website and he'd been hacked and it redirected to something else. And
Mhm.
so I reached out and and I found him to go, "You've been hacked." And then we became friends. And then he started the Friday Google Hangout. And back then you could only have 10 people on. And I can remember on Fridays clicking enter, because the first friend that could get in, right? So that's where this type format started.
Yep.
And it was crazy because that's where I met Doug Sleater. And Doug
Mhm.
Sleater had the Sleater convention, SleaterCon, out in Vegas. So those were the best
There
time.
you are.
Do you remember when I got swatted?
No.
That's a whole nother day. See this window right here?
Yeah.
I was on the Google Hangout with Seth and the gang, and under my window was a sniper in a ghillie suit. My home was surrounded, and I remember thinking right before we got off, I'm like, what is that helicopter doing? Yeah, it was crazy. And I thought only famous people got swatted, but
Oh, I think you're pretty famous.
Sara Laidlaw got swatted. Anyway, that's another day. But yeah, but that's where I learned about Doug and chunkification, and all these programs were coming out of the woodwork. And so we get up to so maybe 2008, I think. Um, so one of the things I don't remember, I think it's 2008 when this came out. Remember Expensify came out,
Yep.
and his byline that was owned by David and his byline was expense reports that don't suck. Well, they announced that they had an integration with QuickBooks. So I'm like, cool. And I signed up and I'm going through it and I'm like, this really sucks.
Yes.
I called them. And that was back when Expensify was so small. David answered the phone. And I said, hi, I'm Sara Laidlaw. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. And I have a service bureau where, and we use, QuickBooks. And I said, and your new QuickBooks sucks. And there's this dead silence. And he goes, well, how do I make it not suck? And I said, well, you've got this all wrong. I said, you're thinking that these businesses all have their own QuickBooks. I have the QuickBooks file. And you're leaving the accountants and the bookkeepers out of the assembly line. And he said, would you explain that to one of my engineers? I said, sure. I'm helpful. I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
So that's when I learned what a chook was. So his programmer was in Australia.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a night owl. So it'd be like 2:00 in the morning and I'm working with this guy. And I'm like, what is that noise? And he goes, chooks. It's his chickens.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it felt like within weeks, they completely redid it, and then that's when I really had the bug working with founders, and because they were coming out of the woodwork, software was coming out of the woodwork. And so when I got Doug said, you have to come to SleaderCon. That was 2013. Okay. And what was cool about SleaderCon was it was vendor agnostic. So all the accounting programs were there. And you know who's in the booths? C-suite. Not just salespeople. It was the owners. It was the founders. It was, getting in there at the beginning of this whole, revolution to me. But so 2013 was a banner year for you and I. But do you want to tell them how we met?
No, you tell them. You tell the story. I think it's
hysterical. All right, so I knew a lot of people before I got there, just from that LinkedIn group. Okay. And with Seth and everything. So there are we're in Vegas. There's 2 big escalators going up. And Deborah's in the other escalator. She's a couple feet ahead of me, and I'm sort of behind her. And Deborah's looking around, and she glances back, and I see this Sara Laidlaw. She goes, and I don't know whether you said I'm Deborah Gilsheimer, but she said, I don't like you, but we're going to be best friends. And then she just turned around, kept going up the escalator. And I was like destroyed. And I'm like, Deborah. Yeah. Deborah, who's Deborah? And I don't remember, did we even talk at the top of the...
Well, what I remember was you were coming up and I was going down.
Were you going down?
I was going down and I saw you. And I said that to you. I said, Sara Laidlaw, I don't like you, but we're going to become best friends. And I kept going down and you kept going up and I remember you got right down and you came right back down. And you went, what was that?
I did. I chased you.
You chased me.
Because I was just like mortified.
What?
And I'm like, I'm a nice person. And I can't stand it. Nobody likes me.
Well, I said to you, I remember, I said, I watch and read everything you post and you're freaking brilliant.
No, you didn't say that then.
Well, that's what I thought.
That's what you
thought. I said.
Because it wasn't until we really got to know each other and all that I finally went, will you please explain to me what I did wrong?
What did I tell you?
I talk too much.
No, I didn't say that.
No, that's me. I talk too much. Okay. So what it boiled down to was, and I was envious of you because somebody would go out and they'd ask a dumb question, social media. in the
Hey, I ask a lot of dumb questions.
but especially about nonprofits, which is so complex and everything. So I envied you because you would do a zinger. You would do these short little answers that just got right to the point, right? I was like, well, and I would teach.
Yeah. You write
I
books.
would go into long explanations of how this works with this. Because in my mind, what good does it do to just tell them what to do? They need to understand and learn why they're doing. And that I drove you crazy.
I'm thinking, why is she writing the books? Just tell them no. You can't.
Get to the damn point.
She's explaining why you can and when it should be like this and
Code.
don't do it. So I go, don't do it.
Is this the origin of TLDR?
Yeah, too long to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote it. That's it. So then both of us found out we had joined the Pink Ribbon Club
Mm-hmm.
while we were at Sleater. I learned while I was Sleater. So
Me too. I had just had the test,
yeah.
and of course Hal's with me, and he's freaking out. He goes, "Why you're not freaking out?" I go, "There's nothing I can do about
Nothing
it."
I can do. We had the same attitude.
So I'm like, "I'll just come home and deal with it." Oh, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I said, "I should be. I'm not a mess. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not worrying about it.
Right.
Worrying about it's just ruining my time, and I spent a lot of money to get here. You know, but
I
enjoy
got
myself."
to do. So we were sick at the same time.
Uh-huh.
But so I skipped 14. I bet you didn't skip 14.
Nope.
You not her. She's going through it worse than I am, and there she is with her, costume at the SleaterCon parties. But so I missed 14. Now 15. So Doug was like, you need to be a session speaker,
Mhm.
and I want to see you in called papers and all that. And I'm like, behind a keyboard, I can do that. So anyway, at 15, I don't know if you remember this, and I don't know if you can see this, but I got an award.
Cool.
It says Sleater Group presented to Sara Laidlaw, Nuanced Networker 2015. And I'm like, what the heck is a nuanced networker?
I got one too.
What did you say?
Jolly Jester.
Jolly Jester. Okay. So the convention was over, and we're going down that big hallway, and so I'm coming up on Doug, and I looked over and I went, "You made this up," and he laughed. He goes, "Yeah." He said, "I want you doing called papers next year." Then he put us on. He put a bunch of us on the leadership council.
To the accountant.
Well, it was Sleater then. Yeah. So, in 2015, I was on the leadership council, and that's when I met like Jeannie, and all these speakers and everything. But I still wasn't speaking, and somewhere in there, Expensify had exploded. Okay, and David had his 40th birthday party in Maui. And I guess being part of this group, we got invited to Maui. It was the craziest thing.
It was the first Expensify.
It was the first Expensify. That's what it was.
Now,
And I knew by that time,
Expensicon.
yeah. And I knew founders. I mean, it was just a really exciting time. And I can remember, shouldn't say this, being in the hot tub at 2 a.m. in Maui. And I'm trying to think, there was like Jeannie, there was Blake Oliver, Patty,
Sharp.
Yeah. And Jeannie goes, "How did we get here?" and I said, somebody said, FOD, Friends of Doug. I mean, we'd all contributed to Expensify, especially my chook thing. But then, I mean, it was amazing. And so 2017, but then Accountex bought him
Yeah.
out, right? And we ended up in Boston. And the very first time I spoke, see, here's the thing. See, because I talk too much. You can't do much in 50 minutes. And it was most of the sessions were theory. It was like theory, but no meat. And I wanted to show meat. And I would spend months prepping. And I would write like ebooks, because I wanted to give value. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm seeing other people come up and they do their sessions as like poo poo, and they do it them all the time. They had the hang of it. I'm like obsessed for months. And then you got in on doing sessions and stuff. Oh, it was a fun time. But my first session in Boston was they gave the newbie the biggest room. Okay. And while I was prepping for all that, Thomson Reuters found out about it, and I was speaking on audit prep for nonprofits and all the audit prep software that's out there, and doing PBC lists. And I had this whole funny thing there, and I was invited to Atlanta to practice on them.
Oh.
I went up with them, but it was a room of like 75 people. It was very intimate. It was funny. And I got all that energy from the people, that I was surrounded with. I get to Boston and I'm like, hello. And the other thing is 8 a.m. and all the West Coasters, it's 5 a.m. in their body,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all sitting there like half dead. And every little joke I made was like, that's it was awful. It was awful. And I was up against Ed Class,
Oh.
and Randy Johnson, all down. They're down the hallway in these little bitty rooms. People were sitting in the hallway because they couldn't fit in, and Sarah's up in this cavernous.
I know, you got to see who you're up against when you speak. Like, okay, there's nobody's coming to my class.
So, but I spoke every year for years, and so, but it's we eventually got up to headed towards now, and I was still loving technology, but I was still doing day-to-day grind. And because I niched with nonprofits, those old days where you really had a relationship and loyalty. See, I love the relationship. I like part of the team. I like seeing them successful. I like being respected. And that was going away. Turnover was more. People weren't even loyal to their jobs. And it felt like, no, it was. Every couple of years, you completely had to resell your value. So it was like getting brand new
directors coming in,
new board members, new executive directors, always re-educating. And I'm not a salesperson, and I don't like conflict. So I did all the mistakes. The conventions taught me so much. Stop the hourly billing. So I did gradually grow in entrepreneurship, coming up. It was slow. And, then it was like the whole technology thing. And I knew what I wanted, but it always felt like it was just around the corner. And I just wasn't there yet. And I was doing really complex nonprofits.
I know.
So, and all the allocations and the job costing, and I'm sorry, to this day, QuickBooks Desktop Payroll is the most phenomenal payroll program.
Totally agree. Just today, I'm in QuickBooks Online Payroll, and I'm trying to put in the hours. And it comes back, you need to have them billable. What?
Yeah.
Okay, make up a customer. So I made up a customer. I said, customer. So I made it. It goes, oh, now it doesn't have a job code. So I called support. And he goes, oh, it's a known glitch. I said, These people need to be paid. How are you going to fix it? Oh, we have no idea when it's going to be fixed.
And how many years did we contribute to the which one of you wrote the article on the being a partner, app partner or
Oh, that was Donna.
Oh, that was me. Yeah, I wrote that one. Yeah.
Y'all have to find that article. It was phenomenal about, and how many times did we end up to be partners, and I like to be in the ground,
Right.
And to really help shape these programs. But I never really got anything out of it. I got a trip to Maui once, but I got some cool socks. But
we got the T-shirt. We got the T-shirt. Yeah.
And watching this technology though has been great. I think was it 2013 when Zero showed up at FleeterCon, and I was just like, "What is this?" And what it did was poked the bear.
Yes.
Intuit QBO would not be where it is today if Zero hadn't shown up and gone, here's what you're supposed to be doing, So it's been a fascinating ride. But when I decided to retire, and I really wasn't ready to retire, I was tired of the fight. Tired of and then I lost two really large, like 40-year clients, 40-year clients. Some new executive director came in, doesn't know who you are, wanted our own people, sold it to the board, and poof, I was gone. Like, thanks for 40 years, but don't let the door kick you in the butt. And that's when it hit me, though everybody been trying to teach this mindset of being in a business. You're not a hobby, that you need to treat it like a business. I was too emotionally connected to my clients, and they're not loyal. In the end, if they have a better deal or another way to go, all that relationship that you had for all these years was poof, gone. And it almost destroyed me. So I had to toughen up.
And it was just like your husband finding a younger woman.
I know. Right. Exactly.
I wrote an article on LinkedIn. Did you read that one? It started as "We need to talk."
We need to talk, right?
And it had this whole thing about it. I was doing it because a client called up, and I took him out of the weeds, and then, but I kind of phrased it like we're getting a divorce,
right?
I go,
it was a divorce. These were divorces. These were. Yeah. And but I'm so into it. So towards the end of my career, as far as a business owner, I was like, if I had just figured this out 15 years ago, and it's the same thing with. I still have colleagues in town that own businesses that don't go to conventions, that aren't in groups, that only do CPE because they have to do CPE, And I'm like, you're missing out, helicopter. You're the helicopter.
Hey, we're like way over time. We need to get, yes. Okay. You guys, I just sat back and let you guys go because I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But we are like way over. But we wanted to get
we were an hour. We're only 45 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes.
30 minutes, and we're
30?
at 40.
I had no idea. I thought we were.
I was enjoying it so much. We'll have to have you back.
I didn't even tell you about my new program. That's okay.
Well, we'll have you back.
We'll have you back. No problem. You filled in for us today. Last minute.
One big thing.
Yeah.
You would tell everybody.
I don't like being told I can't do something.
Okay.
I will figure it out. I've got that personality.
I love it. I mean, we have become best friends over the years, and I
love puzzles. I love figuring things out and solving things. I'm a solver. And if I can't solve something, I don't like it.
Okay. Well, we'll leave on that note. So if you have a problem, call Sarah.
I'm still around. I haven't gone gone anywhere. I haven't even redone my website. But
RTD,
what?
TBS.
TBX. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Check it out. It's a brilliant program.
Is what I already forgot my byline. TBX is the fastest, easiest way to get net change. Oh, Matt is going to kill me. TBX is the fastest, easiest way to get history from desktop, QuickBooks Desktop, or something.
Something like that.
I failed.
There you go.
We'll have you back on and you can tell all about that.
Me go, what's your elevator speech? And I'd go, TBX is blah, 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 blah. See, I haven't seen Matt lately. See,
All right. Well,
all
Donna,
right.
start us off.
All right. Well, thanks for
Thank you, Sarah.
joining us on Bookkeepers on Fire today. If today's conversation sparks something in you, take it forward and into your work, your voice, and your value. Until next time, lead boldly, serve with purpose, and keep the fire burning. Have a
Absolutely.
great week.
All right. Bye.